SpaceX suits versus NASA suits. What's the difference? When SpaceX set out to fly humans on board its spacecraft, it decided to create its spacesuit in-house in Hawthorne, California, in the same building as SpaceX's rockets. Spacesuits are essentially complex, personalized, human-shaped spacecraft. They must be comfortable for the astronauts to wear during long flights inside small spacecraft, while protecting them from changes in oxygen levels and pressure. SpaceX is a privately owned company founded by Elon, while NASA is a government-owned and funded organization, which means there will be some differences in their operations. And of course, there will be differences in their spacesuits, although the primary function of spacesuits is the same, which is to protect crew members from depressurization where air is lost from the capsule, and also ensure astronauts have sufficient oxygen and regulate their temperature. So in this video, we'll look into how SpaceX spacesuits differs from NASA spacesuits down the years. The first big difference longtime space watchers will notice about SpaceX spacesuits is that they are not the orange pumpkin flight suits astronauts used to wear during the launch phase of shuttle flights managed by NASA. The SpaceX spacesuits are a cool, one-piece white design, and much sleeker than the bulky Space Shuttle launch suits, which were also known as the Advanced Crew Escape Suits, ACES for short. The Musk suits have darker panels down the sides to visually taper and mold the torso, squared-off shoulder lines, aerodynamic seams from collarbone to knee, and matching knee-high superhero boots. They do not have the dangling hoses, knobs, and wires of the traditional suits. Elon Musk likes doing things that stand out and can make a statement on their own. Musk wanted the suits to stand out, and he took a very different approach from most spacesuit projects, including those at NASA, which typically involve tapping outside specialist contractors with a long history of experience to help with the work. Musk simply went to that source rather than the usual contractors. Musk tapped Jose Fernandez, a costume designer for superhero movies such as Batman vs. Superman, The Fantastic Four, The Avengers, X-Men 2, and among others, to create a prototype. Invited to be one of the 6 to try out for the job, Fernandez created the helmet. Although he had only 2 weeks, he ended up working with Musk for 6 months to design the suit, which was later reverse-engineered to meet space travel requirements. Musk had focused on the appearance of SpaceX's suits since the company began designing them several years ago. "I spent a lot of time. It took us almost 4 years to design these suits that look both good and work well," Musk said. Musk wanted the suits to stand out. When people put this spacesuit on, he wants them to look better than they did without it, like a tux. So, the tuxedo associations are not on accident. He wanted the astronauts to look heroic in it. Fernandez said that during the design process, Musk kept saying anyone looks better in a tux, no matter what size or shape they are. So what the SpaceX suits evoke most of all is James Bond tuxedo if it were redesigned by Tony Stark as an upgrade for James T. Kirk's next big adventure, streamlined, graphic, and articulated. The suits are more a part of the pop culture Comic-Con continuum of space style than the NASA continuum. It's little wonder, given that the prototype was created by Fernandez alongside Musk. The SpaceX suit was worn by NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley on their launch to the International Space Station aboard Dragon, and each one of the suits is tailored to the crew member. They're designed to be a single piece with specialized parts. International Latex Corporation, ILC, has been the primary supplier of spacesuits for NASA since the dawn of Apollo. ILC is the maker of Playtex bras and girdles. Seamstresses went from sewing undergarments to stitching together thin layers of high-tech fabric on their noisy Singer sewing machines. SpaceX spacesuit is different from the ones worn on spacewalks outside the space station, which makes it different from NASA suits. The suits are just designed for use inside the SpaceX spacecraft capsule, known as the Crew Dragon. They are meant to protect against the dangers of launch, including brief periods of vacuum or high heat, but not outer space. SpaceX suit was made easy to use, something that the crew just had to plug in when they sit down, and then the suit kind of just takes care of itself from there. For the spacewalk outside the space station, the astronauts use NASA's Extravehicular Mobility Units, EMU, which are designed to work for 8 to 10 hours in a full vacuum-like space and protect astronauts from dangerous radiation. NASA spacesuits, such as the one designed for the Apollo program, had boots made to walk on rocky ground. The Apollo suits also had a life support system. They are equipped with an oxygen supply, cooling system, and communication capabilities. The astronauts could go far away from the lunar lander because they weren't connected to it by a hose. The suit consists of a single piece, ensuring gloves and other elements can't fly away. Internally, it has two layers: a bladder layer that contains the atmospheric pressure, and an outer layer that offers fire protection and holds the suit together. This means that the SpaceX suits are flame and impact resistant. It also has communications and climate control built right in. The SpaceX spacesuit has a connection point, or umbilical cord, that provides life support systems, including air and power connections. The single umbilical cord is located on the suit's thigh, and it connects to the wearer's seat in the spacecraft. The suit is really a part of the vehicle, so we think of it as a kind of suit-seat system. Benji Reed, the director of the crew mission management at SpaceX, was asked during a press conference whether the suit will serve as the basis for future missions, such as a manned Mars mission, and whether they will require modification. And he said, "The suits themselves are designed particularly for use within Dragon, and as our focus on transporting NASA crew to and from the space station. So that's our #1 focus for the suits for now. But just like all systems on Dragon, and in Falcon and everything else we do here, we've designed and developed them based on knowledge of all the past systems that have been designed and developed by others. And then we take the designs and results of our work and the data that we get from tests and actual flights to feed into future work. So as we look towards the future, certainly, we'll be taking what we have learned from these suits and getting the data from it and applying that for our future missions." With that being said, another factor that made the SpaceX suit different is the touchscreen-compatible gloves, which must be durable yet flexible, and at the same time conductive, because the astronauts operate the Dragon capsule via touchscreen. The Crew Dragon control panel is touchscreen only, so it would be no good if they had to take off a glove to make a selection. This is certainly different, astronauts controlling the spacecraft via touchscreen. Bankin, one of the first humans to wear the suit while flying through space, said, "We worked with them to define the ways you interface with it, the way your touch registered on the display, to be able to fly it cleanly and not make mistakes touching it, not potentially putting in a wrong input." The helmet also makes a difference. The SpaceX suit helmet is custom manufactured using 3D printing technology and includes integrated valves, mechanisms for visor retraction and locking, and microphones within the helmet structure. The SpaceX spacesuits have been put to test twice before. One was on the dummy at the wheel of the Tesla that SpaceX launched into space, on its Falcon Heavy rocket in 2018. Another was on the dummy called Ripley, that flew aboard the Crew Dragon when it completed its uncrewed Demo 1 test flight in 2019. But Bankin and Hurley will be the first humans to test the suits while flying through space. We want to inspire kids to say that, "I want to be an astronaut, I want to work on aerospace engineering," and that one day they want to wear that uniform, then get them fired up about it. What today is about is reigniting the dream of space, said Elon Musk in an interview. What's your say on the SpaceX spacesuit? What do you think about the future of spacesuits in years to come? Let's hear your views and opinions via the comment section. We'll be glad to hear from you. Now let's go watch another fantastic video from our channel. I'll meet you there.